What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Analyzing the Greats, where we look at the icons of distance running and we try to analyze exactly what made them so successful. In this video, we'll be looking at Zersenay Tadese of Eritrea, who is largely regarded as the greatest half-marathon runner of all time. And according to alltimeathletics.com, Zersenay has 11 half-marathon performances where he ran under 1 hour, and that's more than any other person in history. In 2004, Zersenay famously became the first Eritrean athlete in history to win an Olympic medal. At these Olympics, Zersenay was able to bring home the bronze medal in the 10,000 meters with a time of 27 minutes and 22 seconds. Interestingly, Zersenay actually started out with dreams of being a professional cyclist, which is pretty interesting, but it only took a few races for him to discover that he really has great running potential. With a career spanning from 2002 all the way to the present, Zersenay has been a dominant force in distance running for almost 2 decades now. His personal bests are also quite amazing, and his 58:23 half-marathon time from 2010 was the world record that was basically unchallenged up until this year when Abraham Kiptum ran a time of 58 minutes and 18 seconds, beating it by only 5 seconds. Tadese is largely known for his endurance, his tenacity, and his tight, rapid stride that is completely unique to him, and he's truly an incredible athlete. Alright guys, let's look at some videos and see what we can learn. Alright guys, so the first video we are going to look at today is Zersenay Tadese's half-marathon personal best, which is 58 minutes 23 seconds, and this stood as the world record from 2010 all the way up to this year in 2018. So this was an 8-year world record, and this is truly an incredible world record because he just clearly set the pace fast and was able to hold on, and no one could catch him. In fact, I was reading that right around 10K, he separated himself and just floated away and no one could catch him. And I believe he went through 10 kilometers in right around 27:50 in this race, which for a road race is pretty remarkable. And one thing I want to do, as always, is take a look at his stride here. Now, his stride certainly is not as smooth or as, I guess you could say, ideal as a few other runners. However, his disadvantages, in a lot of ways, he turns into his advantage. And here's a good sort of aerial shot of him running. Even though he doesn't have like this classic stride with this effortless push-off and forefront landing, his turnover is so fast. He's got probably close to 200 steps per minute, which is way quicker than most people that hover right around 180 probably. But it looks like he lands on his heel a little bit, which means he heel strikes just a little bit, and traditionally in distance running, that's seen as kind of a negative. However, he does land with his foot relatively underneath his body directly, which is an advantage, but he just has such amazing turnover. And in fact, coming down the home stretch here, notice how quickly his turnover is, especially in comparison to Sammy Kutwara, who we just saw earlier. And he's able to hold this pace for the whole race. His running economy is so high. He's got excellent running economy. And that's why he's able to become the world record holder in the half marathon, which he just made kind of look easy, amazingly. But yeah, moving on. This is the 2007 World Cross Country Championships. And this is an event that was dominated. And when I say dominated, I mean dominated by Tadese, who's right there in the picture in the green from Ethiopia. Tadese is an 11-time World Cross Country champion. So Zersenay Tadese of Eritrea certainly was not expected to win. He certainly was expected to be likely in the top 3 or top 5 because he was quite an amazing distance running force at the time. But he certainly was not expected to win. And so he does end up winning this race, which may or may not be because there's rumors that Tadese overheated in this race. However, if you'll notice here, Tadese takes the lead. Now, this is right after the 10K mark. Actually, this is right before the 10K mark of a 12K race. And Zersenay looks beat right here. He looks completely beat. He's gapped almost by 20-30 meters, and Tadese looks pretty strong. However, you gotta give Zersenay the nod for having the courage to just keep his pace, hold on, and believe in himself. He's never been one to go into a race and not give it his all. And that's one thing I really respect about him. And so right here, this is right around the halfway point, or excuse me, this is right around just past the 10K mark. Zersenay takes the lead, and look at this acceleration. I'm sure that he was caught off guard by Tadese being caught, and from that moment, he really took off, and his stride is just so much more strong than Tadese, who's almost completely broken. And I'm not really sure if this is because of a heat stroke, but Tadese actually does drop out. And look how much gap he's put on him. He's not in the picture anymore. I mean, he's gone. It's a really amazing victory for Zersenay Tadese. This is his first World Cross Country Championship, and this is actually his only one. That's how dominant Tadese was, so you know he was ecstatic. And coming from Eritrea, he was quite possibly Eritrea's greatest athlete of all time. I mean, he was the first Olympic medal from Eritrea. He did some things that were completely unthought, just no one thought that it would be done before him, so very impressive. I love that. I love that race. And last but not least, this is the 2009 World Championships in the 10,000 meters, and I really love this race because this showcases what I was talking about earlier. This showcases Zersenay's just vitality in races, showcases his courage. And this was a race where, again, Tadese of Ethiopia really was thought to be virtually unbeatable. The year previous, in 2008, in the Beijing Olympics, he was the 5,000 meter champion and the 10,000 meter champion. And what I really respect about this race is, before the halfway mark, right around 10 minutes, 30 seconds, 11 minutes, something like that, Zersenay just takes the lead, and he just pushes the pace and leads for the next 12 laps. Very impressive and very courageous. I really respect that. And I know he did this because he's never been an athlete to have a super strong kick. In fact, Tadese, his race strategy a lot of times against Zersenay is to draft off of him and basically outkick him in the last quarter mile or half mile, something like that. And so Zersenay takes the lead, and he starts to drop in 62-second quarters, 63-second quarters. And slowly but surely, everyone else in the race just can't hold the pace. So I thought it was really interesting, and I wanted to showcase this race because I really respect that in Zersenay. And you know, with a lap to go, Tadese just takes off, and that's just sort of his race style. I think he was basically unbeatable going into this race. No one had a real chance. But Zersenay, I certainly appreciated his efforts here, and a 26:50 is a pretty respectable time in the 10K distance. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to give Zersenay Tadese a score, and remember, our scoring system is from 1 to 100, with 100 being the absolute best he can do. So let's go ahead and take a look at his scores. And here are my thoughts here. For running mechanics, even though he does kind of have this hunched over, like, small stride length, I think he's very efficient with it. It's not a 10, but I gave him a 9. Mental toughness, I think he's a super tough runner. Gave him a 10 there, no question. Strong kick, I've honestly never seen him use his kick, and it doesn't seem to be one that is devastating by any stretch. He does have the ability to turn over pretty quickly, and he can accelerate when he needs to, so I gave him an 8 there. Career longevity, easy decision, gave him a 10. He's been doing this since 2002. Championship races, I can't give him a 10 because he certainly doesn't have the number of gold medals that one needs to get a 10. However, he has, I believe it's 5, possibly 6 world half marathon gold medals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, a quick Wikipedia search will tell you 5. And he also had 1 silver. Just by that alone, that's pretty impressive. But he also has, let's see, 6 or 7 World Cross Country Championship medals, an Olympic bronze medal, a World Championship medal. I mean, he's got a lot of World Championship medals, so I gave him a 9. Running range, I gave him a 9. I think he's pretty competitive when it goes down to about the 5,000 meter distance. He does have a 7:39 3000, but I think anything below 5,000, he's gonna struggle against the world's best. But he does have some unbelievable range. You know, basically 2 miles up to the marathon, so I gave him a 9. Tactical awareness, I gave him a 10 because I think he understands that his kick is not going to be as devastating as it needs to be. He pushes the pace. That's his race style. He pushes the pace because he knows he's an endurance athlete, so I gave him a 10. Personal bests, I also gave him a 10. I mean, 10,000 meters of 26:37, half marathon 58:23. That alone almost deserves a 10, but he does have a 12:59 5K, which is pretty solid. And honestly, I think his marathon time is only going to go down from here. That doesn't really affect my score, but I think it's probably likely, so I gave him a 10 here. Records broken, I give him a 9. I think his half marathon world record alone kind of qualifies as a 9, really. That's an amazing time. That is 4 minutes and 27 seconds per mile. Unbelievable. And he also holds a plethora of national records for Eritrea. Lastly, adaptation, I gave him a 9. I think he has adapted pretty well to the changes in his running life. I think he was on top of the world in the half marathon for such a long time that you know, he didn't need to change much, but moving to the marathon, I think he's trying to find his stride there. And yeah, I gave him a 9. And overall, Zersenay Tadese gets a 93. That's a grade A. That means Zersenay Tadese is one of the all-time bests. He is a distance running powerhouse, and you know, he really does have a very interesting method when it comes to just pushing the pace and holding on, and very few people have been able to stay with him. So I think a 93 is a great score. And yeah, that's Zersenay Tadese of Eritrea. I really enjoyed looking at him, as I do all the runners really, but I like his running style. It's very courageous, and he just seems like a happy person, and you gotta love that. So yeah, that's Zersenay Tadese. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you agree with that. 93, is that too high? Is that too low? I love getting your feedback, and I love interacting with your comments, so feel free to comment below. And yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Feel free to recommend more athletes for me to look at, and also check out the channel, subscribe for more content. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.